Believe you can do this. Not someday. Right now, there's a version of you that already knows what you're capable of. A version that doesn't hesitate, doesn't second guess, doesn't quit when it gets uncomfortable. That version isn't a dream, it's a decision. And the only thing standing between who you are and who you could be is one simple belief that you can. Life will test you. It will throw doubt in your face, whisper that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that maybe you should just stay where it's safe. And if you listen long enough, those whispers become your reality. But here's the truth. Fear is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're stepping into something bigger. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need perfect timing, perfect conditions, or perfect confidence. You just need to start. Because belief isn't something you wait for. It's something you build in every small action, every step forward. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're proving to yourself that you can do this. There will be days when it feels heavy. Days when motivation disappears and all you have left is your will. That's when it matters most. That's when champions are made. Not in moments of ease, but in moments of resistance. When you keep going despite the doubt, despite the fear, despite the pain, you are rewriting your story. Stop comparing your journey to others. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's timeline. Your path is yours. Your pace is yours. And your potential is something no one else can define. The only permission you need is your own. Look at everything you've already survived. Every challenge, every setback, every moment you thought you wouldn't make it through, and yet you did. That strength didn't come from luck. It came from you. And it's still inside you waiting to be used again. So when your mind tells you to quit, remind it who you are. When fear tries to hold you back, take one more step forward. When doubt creeps in, speak louder than it. Say it to yourself, even if your voice shakes. I can do this. Because the moment you truly believe it, everything starts to change. Your actions change. Your energy changes. Your results change. You are closer than you think, stronger than you feel, more capable than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. So stand up, take a breath, and move forward. Believe you can do this and improve it. Believing in yourself before you see results is one of the hardest things you will ever do because it requires you to trust something that hasn't shown up yet. It asks you to move forward without proof, to keep going when there is no applause, no recognition, and no visible progress. Most people wait for evidence before they believe. They wait for success to validate their effort. But the truth is, success is built on belief, not the other way around. When you believe in yourself first, you create a foundation that nothing external can shake. Results can come and go. Wins and losses are part of the journey, but belief is what keeps you steady when everything else feels uncertain. It's what allows you to keep showing up even when you feel invisible, even when it seems like nothing is working. Think about the early stages of any goal. Whether it's learning a new skill, building something from scratch, or trying to improve your life, the beginning is always quiet. There are no guarantees. You don't instantly see progress. And that silence can make you doubt yourself. It can make you question if you're wasting your time, if you're capable, if you should just give up. This is where belief matters most. Not when everything is going right, but when nothing seems to be happening. Believing in yourself is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing not to let temporary circumstances define your potential. Just because you don't see results today doesn't mean you won't see them tomorrow. Growth is often invisible before it becomes obvious. The effort you're putting in is building something beneath the surface, even if you can't measure it yet. There will be moments when your confidence drops. That's normal. You're human. But belief is not the same as constant confidence. Confidence comes and goes depending on how you feel. Belief is deeper. It's a decision you make, especially on the days when confidence is missing. It's saying, even if I don't feel ready, I trust that I can figure it out. The danger of waiting for results before believing is that you might never start. Or worse, you might quit too early. Many people give up right before things begin to change because they mistake a lack of immediate results for failure. They don't realize that progress takes time and consistency compounds in ways that are not instantly visible. Belief also changes how you approach your action. When you truly believe in yourself, you don't hold back. You don't do the bare minimum. You give more effort, more focus, more energy, and that level of commitment is what eventually creates the results you're looking for. In that way, belief becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. Oh, oh, you believe, you act with intention, and your actions create outcomes that reinforce your belief. It's important to understand that no one is born with unshakable belief. It's something you develop. You build it through small promises you keep to yourself, through moments when you could quit but choose not to, through discipline when motivation fades. Every time you show up, even in a small way, you are strengthening that belief. You might not always get it right. You will make mistakes. You will fail at times. But those moments don't define your ability. They are part of the process. Believing in yourself means accepting that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a step toward it. It means understanding that every setback is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. At some point, you have to decide that your vision is worth more than your doubt. That the person you want to become is more important than the fear holding you back. You have to trust that you are capable of growth, capable of change, capable of achieving more than you've done so far. And the truth is, no one else can give you that belief. People can support you, encourage you, and inspire you, but the decision to believe is yours alone. It starts internally, quietly, without announcement. It starts with a simple thought. I can do this. Even if you don't fully feel it yet, say it anyway. Because belief doesn't always come before action. Sometimes it grows because of it. So keep going, even when the results are not there yet. Keep putting in the work, keep showing up, keep trusting the process. Because one day the results will come. And when they do, you'll realize that they didn't create your belief. You created them because you believed first. Starting now is rarely comfortable. It means stepping into motion without the reassurance of perfect timing, ideal conditions, or complete certainty. The mind loves to delay. It tells you that you'll begin when you feel more prepared, when you have more knowledge, when circumstances line up just right. But that moment almost never arrives. Waiting becomes a habit, and over time, that habit quietly steals opportunities you'll never get back. There's no perfect starting point. Every path begins with imperfection, confusion, and small, uncertain steps. The difference between people who move forward and those who stay stuck is not talent or luck. It's action. Starting now, even in a small way, creates momentum, and momentum is powerful. It turns hesitation into movement, movement into progress, and progress into results. You might feel like you're not ready. That's normal. Readiness is often a myth. Most people who achieve anything meaningful didn't begin because they felt fully prepared. They began because they decided that waiting was costing them more than trying. Growth happens after you start, not before. Skills develop through practice, confidence builds through experience, and clarity comes from taking action, not from overthinking. Perfection is one of the biggest obstacles to starting. The desire to get everything right can paralyze you. You want your first attempt to be flawless, your plan to be complete, your path to be clear. But perfection is not the goal, progress is. When you focus too much on doing things perfectly, you delay doing them at all. Starting now doesn't mean taking huge leaps. It means taking the first step, however small it may be. It could be learning something new for a few minutes, writing down your ideas, making a simple plan, or taking one action toward your goal. Small actions may seem insignificant, but they add up over time. Consistency in small efforts often leads to big changes. Fear will try to hold you back. Fear of failure, judgment, fear of the unknown. But those fears don't disappear by waiting. They shrink when you face them. Every time you take action despite fear, you weaken its control over you. You prove to yourself that fear is not something that has to stop you. It's something you can move through. Another reason people hesitate is the pressure to have everything figured out. They want a clear roadmap before they begin. But most journeys don't work that way. You discover the path as you walk it. You learn what works and what doesn't through experience. If you wait until everything is certain, you may never move at all. Time is one of the most valuable resources you have. And once it passes, you cannot get it back. The longer you wait, the more you lose, not just in terms of time, but in missed growth, missed opportunities, and missed chances to become who you're capable of being. Starting now gives you a head start, even if it feels small. It puts you ahead of the version of yourself that chose to wait. There will be mistakes. That's part of the process. But mistakes are not failure. They are lessons. Each one teaches you something that moves you closer to your goal. When you accept that mistakes are inevitable, you remove the fear of getting it wrong. You understand that getting it wrong is often the fastest way to learn how to get it right. Taking action also builds discipline. Motivation may come and go, but discipline is what keeps you moving forward. And discipline is developed through doing, not waiting. The more you act, the stronger your ability to keep going becomes, even when you don't feel like it. You don't need external validation to begin. You don't need approval or permission. The decision to start is yours. It's a personal commitment to yourself that you are ready to take control of your direction, regardless of how uncertain it may feel. The truth is, you will never feel completely ready. There will always be something you don't know, something you could improve, something that feels incomplete. But if you keep waiting for readiness, you'll stay in the same place. Starting now is how you break that cycle. So take that first step. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. Because once you begin, everything changes. You move from thinking to doing, from hesitation to progress, from potential to action. And in the end, the people who succeed are not the ones who waited for the perfect moment. They are the ones who decided that this moment was enough and chose to start anyway. Fear has a way of disguising itself as logic. It tells you to slow down, to wait, to stay where things feel predictable. It makes you believe that stepping forward is risky, that discomfort is a warning sign. That uncertainty means you're not ready. But fear is not always there to protect you. But progress is not always immediate. Sometimes it takes time for your efforts to show. And if you stop too soon, you never reach the point where everything starts to come together. Consistency also builds confidence. Every time you show up, you prove to yourself that you can be relied on. You build trust with yourself, and that trust becomes a source of strength. It makes it easier to keep going, even when things get difficult, because you know that you've done it before. You don't need perfect days to be consistent. You just need to avoid 0 days. Even a small effort counts. Even a little progress matters. Because consistency is not about how much you do in a single day. It's about the fact that you did something at all. Over time, consistency becomes part of who you are. It stops being something you force and starts becoming something you do naturally. And once you reach that point, progress becomes inevitable. Not because it's easy, but because you built the habit of not stopping. The hard days will always be there. They are part of the process. But they don't have to control you. You can choose to show up anyway. You can choose to take one more step, do one more task, make one more effort. Because in the end, it's not the easy days that shape your future. It's the days when you didn't feel like it, but you did it anyway. It's easy to look around and measure your progress against someone else's. You see people moving faster, achieving more, getting recognition, and it creates a quiet pressure inside you. It makes you question whether you're behind, whether you're doing enough, whether you're good enough. But comparison is a distraction that pulls you away from your own path and places your focus where it doesn't belong. No two journeys are the same. Everyone starts from a different place, with different resources, different challenges, different timing, and different responsibilities. When you compare yourself to someone else, you ignore all of that. You reduce their journey to visible results and measure it against your own, often without understanding what it took for them to get there. The problem with comparison is that it distorts your perspective. You tend to compare your struggles to someone else's success. You see their highlights and contrast them with your behind-the-scenes reality. That creates a sense of inadequacy that isn't based on truth. It's based on incomplete information. Your path is yours for a reason. The pace at which you grow, the obstacles you face, the lessons you learn, all of it is shaping you in a way that is unique. Trying to follow someone else's timeline can lead you to rush, to make decisions that aren't right for you, or to feel discouraged when things don't happen as quickly as you expect. Growth is not a race. There is no universal timeline that you have to follow. Some people find success early, others take longer. Some take steady steps, others move in bursts. What matters is not how fast you move compared to others, but whether you are moving forward at all. When you focus on your own journey, you shift your attention to what you can control. You start measuring progress based on your own improvement, not someone else's achievements. You begin to notice the small wins, the gradual changes, the skills you are developing. That creates a sense of purpose and direction that comparison cannot provide. Comparison cannot provide. Comparison also takes away your energy. Instead of using that energy to improve yourself, you spend it analyzing others, questioning your worth, and doubting your progress. That mental drain can slow you down more than any external obstacle. When you let go of comparison, you free up that energy to invest in your own growth. It's important to remember that everyone you compare yourself to has their own struggles. They have faced setbacks, doubts, and failures that you may not see. What looks like effortless success is often the result of years of effort, persistence, and resilience. When you only see the outcome, you miss the process that made it possible. Focusing on your own journey doesn't mean ignoring others completely. You can still learn from them, be inspired by them, and appreciate their achievements. But there's a difference between learning and comparing. Learning helps you grow. Comparison makes you feel smaller. One builds you up, the other pulls you down. You also need to define what success means for you. If you base your definition on what others are doing, you may end up chasing something that doesn't truly matter to you. Your goals should reflect your values, your interests, and your vision for your life. When you are clear about that, it becomes easier to stay focused, regardless of what others are doing. There will be moments when comparison creeps in. It's natural. But when it happens, you have to bring your focus back. Remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the progress you've made. Remind yourself that your journey is not meant to look like anyone else. Patience plays a big role here. Progress takes time, and sometimes it feels slow, but slow progress is still progress. Every step you take is moving you closer to where you want to be. As long as you keep going, you are not behind, you are on your way. You don't need to prove anything to anyone else. You don't need to match someone else's pace or achievements. The only comparison that matters is between who you were yesterday and who you are today. If you are improving, learning, and growing, then you are doing exactly what you need to do. Staying focused on your own journey requires discipline. It means choosing where you direct your attention. It means being intentional about your thoughts, your actions, and your priorities. And over time, that focus becomes a powerful advantage. Because when you stop looking sideways and start looking forward, everything changes. You move with clarity instead of doubt. You act with purpose instead of pressure. And you build a path that is truly yours, one step at a time. Confidence is often misunderstood as something you either have or you don't. Many people believe it appears once you feel ready, once you achieve something significant, or once others recognize your ability. But real confidence doesn't come from waiting or wishing. It comes from doing. It is built through action, one step at a time, every single day. When you take action daily, even in small ways, you send a message to yourself that you are capable. You prove that you are not just someone who thinks or plans, but someone who follows through. That consistency begins to shape how you see yourself. Instead of questioning your ability, you start trusting it. And not because you feel perfect, but because you have evidence that you can show up and do the work. At the beginning, the actions you take might feel insignificant. They might not bring immediate results or recognition, but that's not the point. The purpose of daily action is not just to achieve something external, it's to build something internal. Every time you act, you strengthen your discipline, your focus, and your belief in your own ability to move forward. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. Days when your energy is low and your mind is filled with doubt. In those moments, taking action becomes even more important. Because confidence is not built on your best days. It is built on the days when it would have been easier to do nothing, but you chose to act anyway. Daily action also creates clarity. When you think too much without acting, your mind becomes crowded with uncertainty. You overanalyze, you second guess, and you delay. But when you take action, even a small step, you begin to understand what works and what doesn't. You learn through experience, and that learning reduces uncertainty. As uncertainty decreases, confidence increases, and confidence increases. It's important to understand that confidence does not require perfection. You don't need to get everything right. In fact, mistakes are part of the process. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. It shows you where you can improve, what you can adjust, and how you can grow. When you accept that mistakes are normal, you remove the fear of taking action. Daily action also builds momentum. The more you do, the easier it becomes to keep going. What once felt difficult starts to feel manageable. What once required effort starts to feel natural. That momentum carries you forward, even on days when your motivation is low. It becomes a force that keeps you moving, regardless of how you feel. Another important aspect is keeping your actions realistic. You don't need to take massive steps every day. In fact, trying to do too much can lead to burnout. What matters is consistency, not intensity. It's better to take small, manageable actions every day than to take big actions occasionally and then stop. Over time, those small steps add up to significant progress. As you continue to act daily, you begin to build trust with yourself. You start seeing yourself as someone reliable, someone who keeps their commitments. That trust is powerful. It becomes the foundation of your confidence. Because when you trust yourself, you no longer rely on external validation. You don't need others to tell you that you're capable. You already know it. There will be times when progress feels slow. When you don't see immediate results, it's easy to feel discouraged. But confidence is not built by instant success. It's built by consistent effort over time. The results will come, but they are a byproduct of your actions, not the source of your confidence. Taking action daily also shifts your mindset from passive to active. Instead of waiting for things to happen, you start making them happen. You take control of your direction. That sense of control increases your belief in yourself because you realize that your future is influenced by what you do today. You don't need to feel confident to take action. You need to take action to become confident. That's the shift. Waiting for confidence before you act keeps you stuck. Acting, even when you feel uncertain, moves you forward. Over time, those daily actions shape your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hesitates or doubts, and you start seeing yourself as someone who takes initiative, who follows through, who keeps going. And that identity reinforces your confidence in a powerful way. So keep taking action, no matter how small it may seem. Keep showing up, even when it's difficult. Keep moving forward, even when you're unsure. Because every step you take is building something within you, something stronger than temporary motivation, something deeper than surface-level confidence. It's building a belief in yourself that cannot be easily shaken, because it is rooted in what you do, not just what you think. In the end, everything comes down to one simple truth. The life you want is built by the choices you make every day. Not the big, dramatic moments, but the quiet decisions. When you choose to believe in yourself, to start without waiting, to move through fear, to stay consistent, to focus on your own path, and to take action no matter how you feel. These choices shape your direction, your mindset, and your future. It won't always be easy, and it won't always be clear, but it will always be worth it. So keep going, keep growing, and keep proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you once believed.